Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Just a bit of a race report from this weekend's Midland 6 stage. Yeah, great weekend of racing. For those of you that haven't raced or know much about it, so the 6 stage, there's a 6 stage relay and a 12 stage relay. There's regional ones that happen, and then there's a national race as well, which is normally a few weeks after. The 6 stages normally around sort of September time. The regional ones sort of late September, and then the nationals will be sort of October time. And normally, I think it's around the first 15 to 20 clubs in each region which get through. So the first, you finished in top 20, for example, you'll get through to the national race. And I think within the 6 stage, not sure whether it's the same with the 12 stage, you can normally take through your A and your B team. So yeah, this weekend, in the Midlands, we race at Sutton Park, which is also where all the national races are as well. So the 6 and 12 stages have pretty much always been at Sutton Park, which is a great venue, sort of a closed roads, which is always good. Plenty of parking, although yeah, at Sutton you can have a few delays in terms of getting there, but in terms of the traffic and the parking can sometimes be a little bit difficult, but it's a good venue pretty much. So yeah, I started racing the relays the last few years now that I've joined sort of Western Tempo. Previously, I think the first time I raced there was back when I was 12, so probably close to 30 years ago now, and had lucky enough to get a bronze medal as a under 13 colt. I think I was on the second leg that year and managed to take us through from sort of third. I think I actually came in the lead on the second leg when I was 12, and then lost a few places on the third leg, and we clawed our way back up to the bronze medal on the fourth leg. So that was the first time I've run out, and I've been lucky enough to run for Birchfield in sort of my early 20s, and we won the Midland 12 stage as well. And I think that year I was probably on about the 10th leg, with about a minute lead and going out onto a short leg. So had quite some good memories of racing at Sutton Park over the years. So this year running for Western Tempo, so this is my second or maybe third or fourth race I've done for them at the relays. This year we actually have 8 teams out in the men's race. And I think it was 3 or 4 teams in the female race. So the females do a slightly shorter loop, but they do four legs. The A teams last year were 4th at the 6 stage, so both teams finished 4th, so a good sort of outing. So I think the race is about 3.5 miles for the men, and it's a little bit of an undulating course, to be fair. Sutton Park, it's a good hard course, difficult to pace. I've raced there a few times now, but the first mile is a little bit undulating, and probably the climb out of the park from the start is pretty hard. It's difficult to pace. You have to be careful not to go off too quick and hit that too hard. But so I was on leg 6, but fantastic results for the club. The females, the ladies, actually came home with the win. Fantastic result first, and Western Tempo is quite a new club. I think we've been around now for about 3 or 4 years. I joined the club, although I'm not based from sort of the Cheltenham area where the club is mainly, a lot of the sessions are done. I train with it. Well, I race with them mainly because there's a lot of duathletes and triathletes there, and I just wanted to be part of a club to enter events like this and to get a cross-country season in. Even locally, I probably, with work commitments and other training with my cycling and stuff, it's difficult to train with a club anyway. So I just wanted to run with a club where I'd also have some involvement from a triathlon point of view as well. Although we have got Brat locally, a lot of the guys through social media that I do know from Western Tempo, so that's one of sort of the reasons why I wanted to join the club. But like I said, the ladies actually won outright. I think they won by a couple of minutes, beating Birchfield, and I think the females as well in terms of the B team were also top 10. So the ladies team did a fantastic job, and that's the first outright win they've had at these relays. I think they got a bronze, I believe, at the 12 stage last year. I know the men got a bronze at the Midland 12 last year, so first medal for the 6 stage, and to come home with a victory was absolutely amazing. And I think, like I said, I think there's about 3 teams out for the females as well. And then in the men's race we had 8 teams out. We had about quite a lot of athletes out on the day, which was great to be involved with, and we've got some fantastic runners at the club, and a real mixture of and I think this is what the 6 stage does. You get a mixture of your triathletes, your duathletes, your pure runners, your sort of shorter distance 8 and 1500 metre guys, to sort of the more sort of longer distance half marathon guys that can still run a solid 5k. So we had a range of athletes, from elite duathletes to the winner of the Weymouth last week, Ironman 70.3, Steve Derritt, who was also there. So we had a whole variety of athletes, a couple of guys that another guy called Henry James, who was sort of sub 10 at Roth. We also have Ben Price, who's the elite duathlete, and I think he's broken his PB this year. He's just turned 40 and he's still running 14.50. I think he's 14.49 earlier on this year at Perium 5k. Then we've got Phil Wiley as well, who's a very, very quick 14.30, 14.40 runner still. And then we've got pure runners like Dom, who's sort of in 14.11 shape last year, and Charlie Jones, who's been running fantastically as well this year. So pretty difficult to get a run out really. And I was actually in the D team and on final leg, but the A team, fantastic. We had I think Matthew Nelson, who was off on first leg, who came in sort of 6th or 7th, I think, on the first leg. I think he ran an 18:01 to something like that, I think just outside 18 minutes, and I think came home about 6th or 7th. But the guys managed to work their way back up to sort of 4th place, and possibly at one point may even got higher than that. I think eventual winners were Birchfield Harriers, who sort of backloaded their race. So they had Omar, I think Omar Kadar, I think his name is, who was on the sort of final leg and ran a 17:12. But yeah, they sort of back-ended their team. And I think Birmingham Triathlon and Running, or Birmingham Running and Triathlon Club, BRAT, they were second. But between second, third and fourth, I've got the results in front of me here. I think second were Brat in 1:47.45 for their 6 legs. Bristol and West AC, who were leading earlier on, they actually came home in 1:47.51, so 6 seconds between second and third. And then Western Tempo 1:48, so between second and fourth was 15 seconds. So yeah, really unlucky that Western couldn't quite get back up to that bronze. I think looking at the results as well, Charlie Jones had done a 17:50 on the final leg, taking a good 12 seconds out of Bristol and West, and I think 15 seconds out of Brat. So he had a stellar run, but just wasn't quite able to sort of get those 9 seconds back to the medal, but fantastic run. And then looking at the rest of the times, I think Dom James was the quickest on our A team with a 17:37. I think Dylan had gone 17:53 on leg 5, so there's some fantastic running. So 3 out of the 6 guys had gone sub 18, with Matthew Nelson on the first leg in 18:01, Ben Price 18:15, and then Jack Bancroft was in 18:24 on the foot. So really good running. And then the B team, great run by those guys as well. So looking at the results, a couple of really good runs. I think Luke Davis one of the, I think, I'm not sure whether he's still junior, but he's definitely probably 20, may have just started uni, but he was an 18, 17, sort of, he brought the, solid run by him. Phil Wiley, sort of 18, 29, and Phil's probably might not be the same, but yeah, I think he's well into his 40s now. It's probably similar age to me, maybe 43, 44, but still running phenomenally well. I think still running well under or close to 15 minutes for 5k, raced at the Elite Duathlon last year, so I believe he got a medal as well at the a few years ago, bronze medal I believe at the World or European Championships. So so the B team was a great performance by them to come home in 8th, and the C team, phenomenal run by those guys as well. They were 15th as well, so I don't think we can take 2-3 teams through to the nationals, but the C team, some great running by those guys. I think I said Stephen Derrett, who was on the last leg, who'd just come back from winning Weymouth 70.3 last year, ran an 18.16, so probably looking at that, he was running sort of similar pace to Ben, so he's got to be in sub 15 minute shape. And talking to him at the start, he said he'd probably not his distance 5k, but he actually had a stellar run coming back in 18.16. And a couple of the other guys there running sort of mid to high 19s, and so again the C team, phenomenal performance by them. My D team, we actually came home in 31st, so good running by the team. I was on the final leg. Last year I ran 1950. I thought, looking at my watch, I ran around a 1955. According to the final results, it looks more like 1958. I think I probably didn't go when I was sort of in the race. What happens is when you come to the finish, you're told to look forward, and your person will cross the line and they'll tell you to go. And I just wonder whether I wasn't quite on the mark there and ready when they said go. I was on the line and I was ready. There's just a bit of a couple of seconds there difference from what my watch was saying, in terms of my watch was saying 1955, the result was saying 1958, but thereabouts. I've had a bit of a cold, bit of a sniffle this week. Might hear it in my voice, but that came from when I was away on holiday last week. My wife's been really not well this week, debating on whether it was COVID. She has been tested and it didn't look like that, but so I was pretty pleased to run 1958. I've been out on the bike this morning, or yesterday morning, for an hour just to spin out the legs, but I've had a really tough week training this week, really hard weeks training, mainly gearing up ready for the duathlon next weekend, which is the European qualifiers, and then I've also got the World or the British champs as well at the end of October. So to run 1958, wanting to sort of get sub 20, so I'm there or thereabouts really in terms of, and I think running 6-leg as well, it's always a little bit more challenging. You haven't got as many people to run off and run with, so yeah, you always find that a little bit more difficult. So when you're running the sort of first leg, second leg, even third leg, you're probably going to be in and around a few more people, but generally really happy with the result. Wore the new Adidas carbon shoes as well, which I've been now wearing. I've had sort of 3 outings in that. Yesterday's race, 5k a few weeks ago, which I won, and then also did the British Triathlon Champs in those as well. Yesterday they felt a little bit on some of the downhill faster sections where a little bit of burny sort of sensation on the feet, but I think that was more the socks. I have got a hole in the toe. They're my lucky racing socks, so I've been wearing them for a couple of years, especially for racing, and then they've got a bit of a hole in one of the toes now. I probably should get some new ones, but they took me to my European medal. I've had 4 national medals in wearing those socks now, and plenty of PB, so it's one of those, do you buy some new ones and change them? It's it's a bit silly really, but maybe I should just buy the same pair of socks again. And but yeah, so I think it's probably more that in terms of that impacting my feet as opposed to the shoe itself. But yeah, so generally, great day out at Sutton Park. I had Mark and Morella, Mark who were doing my long runs, they popped over to watch, which was fantastic to see them. I think they really enjoyed it. Mark's done a few Ironman races with myself. He's got a couple of marathons coming up, but I think I think they really enjoyed coming down and seeing the sort of atmosphere that club running can get on a local level. So yeah, if anyone's in and around the area or runs for a local club and you haven't taken part in the sort of 6 or 12 stage, it's really worth turning up and having a watch. Last year at the National 12, Alex Yee turned up and ran. Andy Butchart was there, and a few other sort of high-end sort of runners. So back when I was in my early 20s as well, I remember watching Mo Farah running 12th leg for his club back in the day. So yeah, you get a real sense of there's quite a lot of previous running legends, I suppose, that have gone around there. I think Steve Ovett, and back in the 70s and 80s and so on, I think they were running the 6 and 12 stage. So it's a great event to be part of. So yeah, hopefully like to a little bit of a race review there, and look forward to coming and racing over the next few weeks. Like I said, I've got the European qualifier next week at Thruxton, so that's the big one for me. So looking forward to getting the TT bike out again and having it's on closed roads, obviously being at the race circuit, so looking forward to that, and I'll give you a bit of an update on that next week. So again, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you all soon.